Hello and welcome to Q Today, our show for the March 6th to the 9th. I'm Ron Campbell, one of your hosts for today's show.
And I am Alison, your other host for this program.
We want to remind viewers that our weekday show runs from Tuesday at 5 p.m. to Friday at 8 a.m. and the weekend offering airs from Friday 5 p.m. to Tuesday at 8 a.m. We broadcast every day at 8 a.m., 5 p.m., and 10 p.m. Alison.
And before we get into the news, we also want to remind you that we are accepting sponsors for the program. You can reach us by email at qtoday2012@gmail.com. And of course, as always, thanks to the Caribou Observer for providing some of our news stories. And remember, we do just give the highlights here on Q Today, so if you want to read the full story, pick up your copy of the Observer or check out their website at quesnelobserver.com. Ron.
Thank you, Alison. And of course, across the province and here locally, the big news story is the BCTF. The strike action has escalated with closure of all public schools. And according to the Superintendent of Schools, Sue Ellen Miller, for School District 28, said that during the strike, no buses will be running and no schools will be open. Because she said that, she goes on to say that the district would not be able to ensure student safety. So for all you parents out there, please make sure that your children stay home and not show up at school. And hopefully that both sides will come to some sort of understanding and get together and settle this issue as soon as possible, because it is affecting the students. And advise parents further that to listen to the radio, watch your newspaper, and also news broadcast for updates, because this could change rapidly. Make sure you know what is happening provincially and locally. Alison.
All right, so when I saw the title, Mob Hits Downtown Business in the Observer last week, I thought, what the heck? But this was actually no regular mob, it was a cash mob. Local resident Jody Ballinger read an article about a man in Cleveland who decided to mob a local hardware store. Now, the idea is not to boycott corporate businesses, but rather to support businesses that are contributing to and are established in the community. So through word of mouth and an email campaign, Ballinger asked people to pop into Good For You and Planet 2 and either spend a bit of money or just drop in to express appreciation to the business. The intent of the cash mob is to get more customers into the business and build a stronger clientele. Good For You and Planet 2 was chosen because they were celebrating their 1-year anniversary, and also because Jody feels a responsibility to support local products, saying, supporting any store whose focus is on local, organic produce and meat is important to me. The cash mob was a huge success. Owner of Good For You and Planet 2, Jorlene Russell, said they saw more than 100 extra transactions go through the till, and they have also gained some new customers as a result. I thought that was a really interesting story, Ron, because I've never heard of anything like that.
Extremely unique.
And it sounds like they're planning on having another one, so should be good.
So you don't watch too many commercials then? There's a commercial for
I don't.
A cell phone, I think it is.
Uh-huh.
And this one fellow's in Grand Central Station, and he stands up and he starts to dance and sing, and he's looking around and he's the only one.
Oh, really?
Because he didn't get his email message properly, and everybody else standing around is not ready to prepare.
Oh,
And
you know, I don't...
basically what happens is that they send out an email or a text to everybody saying, meet at such and such and we'll do such and such. We'll sing
or dance or do whatever it is that they do.
But
well, you know, I don't watch many commercials anymore because I have a PVR. So I record anything that I want to watch, and when I'm watching it, I can just fast forward through the commercials.
Well, there you are. You see, you haven't lived. You've got to watch some of these commercials.
I guess.
Moving on to some more stuff on schools, the Quesnel Junior School in September received in September 2011, received some money from the Mitchell Odyssey Foundation. It was a grant in the amount of $25,000, which has to be used over the next 5 years. The QJS plan on using that to enrich math, science, technology. And over the next 4 years, the science department plans to invite speakers to talk and work with students. It is the hope of QGS to grow a science club and use it to enhance field trips and career explorations. They continue to enhance the science program, and this is in order to make sure that some students will gravitate towards the sciences. I got that out just at the last minute.
Good job, Ron. So there was a great new column in last week's Observer dedicated to our local museum and archives. The intent of the column is to generate interest in what the museum has to offer. The museum, for example, has displays that change on a regular basis. And this month, actually, Dude Lavington's cabin is recreated right down to the authentic boards for the walls. There's also a winter sports exhibit, which includes memorabilia from the Millionaires and Kangaroos hockey teams. And they are still looking to add to this exhibit, encouraging anyone who may have mementos they would like others to enjoy to just bring it on in. They're also looking for a Siwash sweater, hoping someone out there has one that they may be willing to donate to the museum. And they said in the article that they may also need to know more details when setting up new exhibits and may call on the public to help with memories or artifacts. There are hundreds of pictures in the archives that need identifying, hoping that by publishing some of these pictures, someone may have information on them. An example of this, a recent Observer had a picture of Quesnel Elementary School staff with no names on it, and when they asked for help from the public, they had all but one of these staff members identified. So keep your eye open for this new column. You may have just the information that they are looking for. And get down to the museum and check out some of our local history. There's something for young and old and items of interest for everyone.
It's an excellent facility, and it's underused, especially by us.
They had great pictures in the paper of the old museum, the present museum, and the hopeful future museum. And the future museum just looked fantastic.
It did. I was looking at that and I said, how can new and museum be tied together? Because everything is supposed to be old.
Good point. That's a little bit of a, yeah.
And I made sure that I'm well labeled so that I'm not put in the museum. That was a good story, Alison. Thank you.
You bet.
This next one is near and dear to my heart. It's about the Quesnel Canadian Cancer Society. We have a volunteer, Olive Walsh. She writes for the Cancer Clips. And in this week's edition, she's put out a plea for volunteers that have skills in public speaking, writing articles, and the use of computer and other office experience. The Quesnel Cancer Office offers an orientation program that's put on by another long-term volunteer, Ann Burgess. Our next meeting is March the 14th at noon. Some of our fundraisers are already started. Daffodils are already here. Relay for Life meetings are still taking place. So if you want more information on the campaigns that we're starting, and also if you're interested in volunteering, please call our office at 250-992-6551.
Great, thanks, Ron. Moving along to sports, after blowing a 20-point lead, the senior boys clan basketball team came back late in the fourth quarter to earn a 73-68 win over the PGSS Polars recently. That win has earned them a trip to the high school provincial championships. The win showed the grit of the clan, who watched the Polars go on a 27-point tear in the third quarter to take a 59-53 lead into the last quarter. The clan regained the lead with 3 minutes to go in the game and never looked back, thanks to some solid defense and key buckets from tournament MVP Amrit Sikhan and Ian Pepper. On the girls' side, the result at the zone playoffs was not what Tracy Lust and her senior girls clan basketball team were looking for, but Lust was pleased with the effort her players put in through the season and throughout the playoffs. They opened up the tournament with a tough loss against North Peace Secondary and ended the tournament with another loss to North Peace in the semifinals. They did, however, secure a win against South Peace Secondary. Despite the 2 losses, Lust felt her team matched up well against North Peace. She pointed to the ups and downs in both games where the teams traded the lead well into the 4th quarter when North Peace would slip ahead. Emotions became a negative contributing factor, Lust said, and the loss of 2 of her top players with 5 minutes to go in the final quarter definitely didn't help. So good for the boys and unfortunate for the girls, but
It sounds like
that's the way it goes.
sounds a lot like our Kangaroos. You can't make points from the penalty box.
So true. So true, Ron.
This next story is about hockey, but the fellow that writes it, Steve Doge, put such a slant to it that it's actually quite amusing. You can tell even by the titles that it puts in. Serenity erupts over Bear GM Dents blue collar. And we're talking about a fun league wherein Steve outlines the hockey trials of the local hockey teams for the aged. He put such a good slant on it that you have to read this article. And the Bears that he's talking about was a team, they scored 9 goals in 1 game, and it was 1 less than they had in the last 7. So that shows you what he's talking about there. And he mentions other games, but his column is a must-read, just for the nicknames that he gives to the various players that are in the hockey league and do a little scoring and things like that. For instance, Ian, Heartbreaker Hannah, Sugar Ray Friesen. These are some of the names that he gives to the hockey players, and it's you've got to read it just to understand where he's coming from. He does an excellent job outlining the hockey from the Fun League.
Great. Thanks, Ron. So before we get into our community calendar, we would like to announce that there will be a public meeting of a Developing Seniors Health Action Group at the Senior Center at 10 a.m. on Thursday, March the 15th. The emphasis will be on action rather than talk in all matters concerning needs for local seniors. This is an exploratory meeting to identify key areas of concern such as housing, residential care, in-home care, hospital care, accessibility, and transportation, as well as other issues. And again, that meeting will be held on Thursday, March the 15th at 10 a.m. at the Senior Center. If you would like any further information on that, you can contact Peter Nielsen at 250-992-7416. And now we're going to take a look at the community calendar.
Just before we move on, Alison, I have another thing that I have to announce.
Okay.
Ron Silver with the Lions is going to be interviewed by Nate Bello, our producer, on Wednesday. So look forward to that. It's going to be about what the Lions are planning for Quesnel.
So that'll be on our next show on
I
Friday's
believe so.
show? Great.
Yes. Yeah.
Good.
If Nate gets it together, sometimes we have problems. I have to phone him maybe.
Yeah, these producer people, I tell
You they're not like us, prepared and ready to face the issues.
All right, so do you have some rumblings or thoughts for the day for us today? What's happening with that?
Well, I got a couple of things. One,
Oh.
my Montreal Canadiens lost.
Oh.
The Canucks lost. But the highlight of the weekend was that Rory McIlroy, I think is how you pronounce it, he won the golf tournament and he becomes the #1 player for golf in the world. So, and he beat out my friend, Mr. We won't even mention his name. Anyway, I do have a thought for the day. Focus on giving instead of getting. That's pretty hard for me, especially when I
don't
need
believe
so
that.
much.
Don't believe that.
Anyway, that's the focus for the day.
Nice.
Alison?
Very good, thank you. So that is it for this show. You can contact us by email at qtoday2012@gmail.com to give us feedback, or if you would like to give us a tip on any news that you think we should check out here at Q Today, or if you would like to be a sponsor or volunteer. You can also get a hold of Nate at 992-3650, or call the Shaw station and leave a message for John McKenzie at 992-8363.
And remember, Q Today is produced by QMag, the Quesnel Media Access Group. And you can also watch us on the internet at the Quesnel Community Access TV. The website is www.qcatv.ca and is run by one of the members of QMag, Eddie D'Souza.
So thanks again for watching, and remember, our purpose is to get a conversation going for Quesnel by Quesnel.
Bye for now.